Hello, Franklin Pierce High School community. My name is Jamie Feynman McKinney, and I am a counselor here at Franklin Pierce High School. Today, I wanted to talk to you about registration for your classes and how to look at your transcripts and how to start the registration process. There are 3 things you're going to need to complete this part of the registration process. First, you're going to need your transcript. Unless you are a current 8th grader, you don't have a transcript for us yet. You will have that from your Cardinal Connections teacher. Then you'll need the course catalog, which you'll have access to online. There will also be a link to that on this presentation that will be emailed to you. And then there are some flowcharts about which math, science, English, and social studies class you should sign up for. And those are on slides 10 and 11, and they're also in the course guide and on the website. Today, we're going to look at the graduation requirements for Washington State. We're going to look at what are the requirements to get into a four-year university. We're going to look at how to look at your transcript. We're going to go over how to read the course offerings in the course guide. We'll look at the flowcharts and how to look through those to see which is the class you need to take next. And then we'll talk about Running Start for just a minute. So these are the Washington State graduation requirements. These are what the state of Washington says you have to accomplish in order to graduate from high school. So looking at this, you need 4 years or 4 credits of English, 3 years, 3 credits of math, and 2 of those have to be algebra and geometry. Those can't be subbed for anything else. You have to pass algebra and geometry to graduate high school. Science, 3 credits of science. 2 of those have to be a lab science. Every science class we offer at Franklin Pierce is a lab science, so that shouldn't be a problem. Social studies. There are specific requirements for which social studies classes you need to take to graduate, and you need 3 credits in social studies to graduate from high school. Fine arts, you need 2 full credits of fine arts to graduate. World language, you need 2 credits, 2 full years of a language to graduate. You can also look at doing a personalized pathway instead of a language. We can talk about that, and you can talk to your counselor about that. That is only an option if you are not planning to attend a university after high school. Health and fitness. So this is PE and health. You need a 0.5 of health and 1.5 credits of PE to graduate. Then career and technical education, which is CTE, you need 1.0, so a full year of the CTE class or classes to graduate. After that, the rest of your schedule will be full of electives, and you need 4 credits of electives to graduate. The next thing you should be thinking about is what is your E? There are 3 E's, and they are enrolled, employed, or enlisted. Enrolled, we need to open up our idea of what that looks like a little bit more. Enrolled means you're going to go on to further education. It's lunchtime. That means you're going to go on to further education after high school. And what that looks like is different for everybody. It could mean you are going to a 4-year university. It could mean you're going to a technical college or a community college, or you're going to do an apprenticeship. Think of enrolled meaning more education to do a job. Employed, you are going straight to work after high school. You have found a career where you don't need to get any more education to do that career, and you're going right into the workforce. Enlisted, you'll be joining our military, so you'll be going into one of the branches. So when we ask you, what is your E, we hope you'll be able to say, oh, my E is I'm enrolled. My E is I'm enlisted. Your graduation pathway is a graduation requirement. This one's a little tricky and a little complicated, but I just wanted to go over it a little bit with you so you had an idea of what this meant. So, graduation pathway, the easiest way for me to explain this is at the end-ish of your sophomore year, you'll take the SBA for math and English. If you pass this test in both areas, you are considered pathway met, meaning you've passed the test for math and English and the pathway's been achieved. It's not an easy test, especially in math. So a lot of times students don't pass it on the first try. So what do? Well, we have a few options for you. Option one, you try again, junior year. We always make that an option because you should always keep trying. Then what we're going to do is we're going to look at this career technical CTE course sequence up here. So that means you'll get 2 or more credits in a CTE course progression in the same program area. I know, complicated, right? That's where we come in to help you. For example, let's say your E is enrolled and you want to open your own business one day. So we would say, great, that's wonderful. Maybe you've taken marketing, you've taken business management, you've taken graphic design, and you've taken financial literacy. Those classes are all CTE classes, and they fit into the pathway of learning how to run a business. That would mean a pathway is met. Don't get overly concerned yet or into the weeds about this. That's how we're going to help you find that pathway. That's another route to achieving the pathway. Then a different way to achieve this is if you're going into the military, you can take the ASVAB test, and if you score a certain score, that can count. Another way is college and the high school classes in math and English. If you pass the college and the high school class, check mark, you earn the pathway. If you go to Running Start and take a college level course in math or English, 100 level or up, check mark, pathway met. So we have multiple ways for you to achieve this pathway, but just remember, it's a graduation requirement and your counselors are tracking this for you and looking at ways for you to achieve this pathway to make sure you're on track to graduate. The graduation requirements for graduating high school and getting into a four-year university are not the same. Here are a few of the differences. The same, you need 4 years of English to get into a four-year university, 3 years of social studies. To graduate high school, you'll need 3 years of math, but to get into a university, you need 4 years of math. So if you're thinking you'd like to go to a university, you should plan on taking 4 years of math. I always tell my students, if you're not sure if you want to go to a university or not, but you're thinking about it, plan for it, because you don't want to make it through senior year and not have the option if that was something you were thinking about. So plan for 4 years of math. Plan for 3 to 4 years of science. You need 3 years of science to graduate, but plan on 4 just to set yourself up for success. You need at least 1 year of a math-based science. We would say chemistry or physics would fulfill that requirement. You need 2 years of a world language, and we want it to be consecutive. So Spanish for 2 years in a row. You can't take it freshman year, take a year off, and then go back to finish it. You have to do freshman, sophomore done, or go into the higher level after that. Then, which makes me sad, is you only need a year of fine arts to get into a university, but lucky you, you get to do 2 full years of fine arts to graduate high school in the state of Washington. So now you'll get your transcript out. I included a copy of an older transcript here on the right so you can get an idea of how to look at a transcript and what it is showing you. In order to pick the right classes for yourself, you have to be able to look at your transcript, know what classes you've passed, what classes maybe you didn't pass, and that's okay. We can make a plan for that, and what you need going forward. I circled in green here the grades, so that's where you'll find the grades. And then if you look all the way to the right, you'll see this student, see where it says graduation pathway? That's what we just talked about on that other screen about the SBA, the ASVAB, the CTE course sequencing. Washington State history, that's a graduation requirement. Most students will have passed that in middle school, and it'll already be on your transcript. If you haven't taken it because you came to us from out of state, from a district that didn't offer it, we do have the course here at the high school, and you can take that with us here. So what you're going to do is you're going to highlight any courses that you failed. That way you can say, oh gosh, I didn't pass this, I might need to take that again. Or, oh, guess my summer's full and I'm going to be taking myself a new class this summer. That's okay too. We want you to think about registering for classes though as if you've already passed the previous one. For example, you are in 9th grade right now in algebra. We want you to register for geometry next year as though you're going to pass algebra this year. Whenever you pick your classes or sign up for classes for the next year, your counselor is definitely going to make sure all of your classes are correct. You will get verified before things get put on your schedule. So if you're not 100% sure of things, pick what you think is correct, and your school counselor will check everything over for you. I think this is the fun part now. So this is the 2025-26 course guide. I'm just going to take a little sip of water because my throat tickles a little. Okay, sorry. So in the course guide, we're going to look at course descriptions and learn about prereqs. Here's a link to the course catalog online. You'll need this so that you can look through it because we're not giving out paper copies. What I'm showing you here is how to understand what the course catalog is saying. So, first thing is you'll want to make sure the class you want is offered at our school. You'll see on this column, it shows you where the class is offered. You don't want to pick a class that's only offered at Washington High School. You want to make sure it's offered at FPHS. Then, how do I know if the class is all year or just one semester? Follow this arrow and you'll see these boxes here on the right show you semester 1, semester 2. That's full year. If it's just one code and it's across both boxes like Washington State history, that means it's just a semester long and it's probably offered both semesters. You don't need to worry about which semester it's offered. You just need to know it's a semester long course and you only need to pick it once. Then down here, you're going to see what is a prerequisite. So this one says completion of Algebra 1 and 2 and Geometry 1 and 2. That means in order to sign up for Modern Algebra 2, you have to have taken Algebra and Geometry. In order to sign up for Modern Algebra, you have to have completed Algebra 1, both semesters, and Geometry, both semesters. Dual credit means you earn college credit and high school credit at the same time. And it tells you full year. Make sure when you're picking classes you're not just writing down modern algebra, you're also writing down the course numbers, because next week we're going to actually write down the classes we want to take so I can show you how to put them into the computer. And you'll put them in by course number, not by the name, and it'll be a little frustrating if you don't have the course number. So these are course sequencings. What you look at here, these are math and English. These read a little bit different from each other, and I wanted to walk through that with you. Let's look at math first. Let's say you're in 9th grade and you're in algebra right now. You're going to read this to the right. If you're in algebra right now, next year you're going to take geometry. Now, let's say you're in 10th grade and you're in geometry. Next year, go to the right, you'll take Algebra 2 or college in the high school pre-calculus. But you can't take that really unless you've taken Algebra 2. So, let's say you're in 9th grade and you're in geometry. You can take Algebra 2 next year. You see how it moves to the right? This should be very helpful to you in how you pick your classes. If you are in 11th grade and you need your 3rd or 4th year math, you're going to read downward. So, I am currently a junior and I took Algebra 2 this year, but I want to take another year. So I'm reading down. These are my options. I know I want to go to a university next year. I think I'm going, and I passed my SBA. Whoop! So I'm going to sign up for college in the high school pre-cal, if that makes sense. It's just what comes next for me. But let's say I don't do that wonderful at math and I want to go move on and do something more because I need to keep my math skills sharp. I think I'm going to take Bridge to College Math. That's okay too. If I pass Bridge to College Math, then I've sorry y'all, that means I've also met the requirement for the SBA. We have a class called Bridge to College Math, which if I pass both semesters of that, that means my requirement for the graduation pathway is met as well. Now let's look at English. English goes downward by grade, not across, if that makes sense. If I'm in 10th grade, these are my options as a 10th grader, if I'm going into 10th grade. So I can take regular sophomore English, advanced sophomore English, or food justice. If I want to do food justice, I have to know that that is 2 periods of my day, and I go to the farm for that. If I'm going into my junior year, I could do junior English, college, CHS is college in the high school, intro to literature, food justice, Chicano literature. If I'm going into senior year, I can read downward, and those are my options as well. And you need a full year, not 1 semester. Let's look at science and social studies. I hope I'm not overwhelming you with information and I'm giving you information that's useful. Science. If I'm a current 9th grader going into 10th grade, I can take physical science, human body systems, chemistry, but here's where it gets a little tricky. Theirs goes sideways too. So in 9th grade, if I took biology, I should sign up for physical science. In 10th grade, if I took physical science, I should sign up for chemistry. It doesn't have to look that way. That's a suggested course of action. So if I want to go to the farm and take ecosystem design, I'm welcome to do that. It counts as lab science. I could do that in replace of pretty much any of these sciences, and that's okay. Social studies. We don't really have a social studies class for 9th graders. So 10th graders are going to take a semester of world, and then we're going to say one of these elective social studies classes, maybe intro to psych. And then maybe, you can't see them over here because my big noggin's in the way, sociology or Washington State history if you haven't taken it already. You need to take an elective social studies to graduate. 11th grade year, this goes downward too. You can take US history or college and the high school US history. Your senior year, you need civics and ethnic studies or contemporary world problems. And then you can also take college and the high school politics and government. Now we're going to talk about Running Start. I think you should tune in for this because Principal Marzano changed some of the current rules that we follow about Running Start for next year, and I'm just going to go over them with you. Our school district only pays for tuition for Running Start. So if there are fees and labs, like lab fees or book fees, your tuition doesn't cover that. You'll be required to pay for those. Our school district does not provide transportation to the colleges, so you'll have to figure out how to get to and from the school. Okay, here's where it gets, okay? Students taking graduation requirements at FP will only be scheduled in back-to-back period courses. So if you need to take a math and a PE on campus, they need to be first and second or fifth and sixth, because you cannot be on our campus if you are not enrolled in a class. You cannot be on our campus if you are not enrolled in a class, which goes into my next bullet. Unfortunately, if you are not in a class on our campus, you cannot be on our campus. If you are taking online classes at Running Start, your online classes have to be taken at home, not at FP. This is new. You cannot do it on our campus. Let's talk for a second about the difference between Running Start and college and the high school. If you want to take rigorous, hard college classes that earn you college credit, but you still want the high school experience on our campus and you want to be here and you want to do leadership, the retail class, choir, band, then you need to not do Running Start and take college and the high school and be on campus. If you are looking to not be involved in high school activities, you're ready to just go to college, you're ready to be on a college campus and live that life, then Running Starts for you, because you can't be on our campus anymore for the school day. You could come here to take the 1 or 2 classes you have to take, but that's it, because you can only take graduation requirements with us. You can't take extra electives and you can't take additional classes that you enjoy. That includes the biomed track, that includes leadership, that includes advanced choirs. Unfortunately, this is a new rule and it's gonna make you have to make some hard decisions. If you'd like to still be part of our community, you're always part of our community. We'd love to have you here. You can come after school for clubs and activities, but you can't be here during the school day unless you're enrolled in math, science, PE, whatever you need to graduate. If you have questions about this, you can see Mrs. Marzano. She is happy to answer those questions for you. Then, if you are a current sophomore or junior who has not attended Running Start before, there is a mandatory meeting on March 18th that goes over all of the information you're going to need for Running Start. Please mark your calendars. Please tell your families. Please tell the important people in your life who help you make decisions. You have to be at that meeting. And yet again, I just want to let you know, we do want you here. We do want you engaged. You are welcome to join sports, clubs, activities, because you're still our student, just not during the school day. So what comes next? What do we do next? Well, tomorrow in your Cardinal Connections, you're going to get a chance to look through the course guide and complete a scavenger hunt. And then on March 10th and 11th, you're going to use the course guide to actually pick some classes for next year. On March 17th and 18th, one of the counselors is going to be in your English class to help you put your course selections into the computer system. And then, this is a big one, if you don't pick your classes by March 25th, the counselor's going to pick them for you. And we're not doing very many schedule changes next year. This is new too. You're not going to get the opportunity to change them. If we pick them, you keep them. No returns, no exchanges. You get what you get. Few things to remember. Course selection right into the computer will be March 17th and 18th. Year-long classes are commitments and they have to be fulfilled. If you pick a class that's a year long, we will not pull you out at semester. You have to finish the class. You're picking classes for the whole year, not just semester one. And then think about what your post-secondary plan is and pick classes that go along with that plan. If you do not register by the deadline, I noticed a typo. You will have classes selected for you, and changes will not be allowed. Consider stepping out of your comfort zone and challenging yourself with the college and the high school AP, advanced, or CTE course. Thanks for your time. Let your counselor know if you have registration questions. There's me, Jamie Feynman-McKinney. There's Mrs. Plaskett-Rosario, Mrs. Nelko, and Mrs. Detweiler. We would love to say hello. We would love to visit with you, and we look forward to working with you. Have a really nice day.